Hey, this is Corey from Woodcraft, and we have another ice cold day here in Minnesota. And I was supposed to be out on a camping trip, but life and vehicle problems kind of got in the way of that. But I still would like to take this opportunity to test out some of the gear that I've gotten in this last year. I got that Outdoor Vitals tent that hasn't seen the winter yet. I'd like to test that out and see how that does in the extreme cold. I got a new sleeping pad, a T&H outdoor sleeping pad, that I'd like to try out and see how it performs in the colder weather. And since I'm gonna be here in my backyard, I'm excited to try out my camera. I've never had to sleep with a DSLR in my sleeping bag. I've had to sleep with my heat, my alcohol for my alcohol stove, and my water bottle, but I've never really had to sleep with a DSLR. And so I'm excited to see how that turns out and trying to make sure that I don't freeze my very expensive camera. So we're going to be trying out a lot of different things today in this video, and hopefully you guys learned something, and I can't wait to show you how I do things a little different in the winter. So stay tuned. Alright, so I have my location picked. I am in my backyard, but there's still a lot of the dangers when it comes to winter camping in any environment, whether it's your backyard or out in the woods. And the biggest one is widowmakers. Even though you look up and you don't see any deadfall, you have to keep in mind that it could snow, and snow is very heavy. Here in Minnesota we get a lot of freezing rain, which is even heavier yet. And so you want to make sure that the branches above you can support a lot of weight. You know, if it were to start freezing rain or snow, you want to make sure that the canopy above is strong enough to withhold all that weight, and it's not going to come crashing down on you in the middle of the night or early morning. And so always look up, and don't just look for deadfall, but also make sure that there's no branches that look weak or thin, or make sure that they can withstand that weight of the snow and ice. So always look up before you set up any kind of shelter. And that's my first tip when it comes to winter camping. Alright, so another quick tip I have is, you all know in the spring, summer, fall, when the ground is moist and ready to go, I like to use these shepherd hooks, these titanium shepherd hooks. But they're too thin, in my opinion, for this frozen ground. And so in the winter, I swap out these shepherd hooks that are way lighter. But I have a dry bag here, and I use these bigger stakes. I had to get 2 more this year, but you can see they get used. And with these bigger stakes, what I'm able to do is I'm able to use a hammer or my axe and pound them into that frozen ground, and I'm not so worried about them bending or breaking. They're fairly inexpensive. They're a lot heavier than the shepherd hooks. This bag of 12 tent stakes is lighter than this one tent stake, but this is a lot more heavy duty. It's gonna work in the frozen ground a lot better. And so that's my second tip when it comes to winter camping, is getting yourself some nice, rigid, strong tent pegs. Now in the winter, it's still important to use your footprint. Your footprint is still gonna keep all the debris and stuff from poking through the bottom of your tent, but it's also gonna make a waterproof barrier between the ground and your tent. And with all the snow and moisture in the ground, when you're sleeping and that heats up, it's going to create pools and it's going to create ice. And so it's important to still keep your footprint underneath to prevent that moisture from soaking through. So even in the winter, you still need to use your footprint. I think it's almost more important to have a footprint in the winter as a moisture barrier than in the summer, because in the summer you can clear the sticks and debris and have a nice clean surface to put your tent on, where it's really hard to get all the moisture out of the ground in the winter. So always use your footprint. Alright, so one of the things that I'm going to be using is my T&H outdoor sleeping pad. This is a self-inflating sleeping pad, and it packs down really small, and it's really affordable. So I'm excited to show you guys that sleeping pad. I'm excited to test it out tonight. It's supposed to get down to -20, which is pretty cold. So I have my MMS sleep system. I have all 3 bags put together, which makes it a -40-degree sleeping bag, and so it should keep me warm. Even if the sleeping pad doesn't perform as well as I hope, the sleeping bag should keep me warm enough. I might get a little cool in the middle of the night, but I won't freeze. I'll be just fine. But it'll be a good test of that sleeping pad to see if it keeps me comfy, cozy, warm. I'm probably gonna end this video right here. I got a lot of good things coming in the future. I want to do a review and a first impression on how that sleeping pad worked out. I want to do a winter update on this tent. I have a couple other tips and tricks when it comes to winter camping, and so there's a lot of good things coming to the channel. So if you have any knowledge on winter camping or any tips or tricks that you would like to share, make sure to leave any knowledge or questions in that comment section. I love hearing your guys' opinions and your guys' knowledge. It's so nice hearing from you guys and learning what you guys do in the winter months. Then make sure to like and share this video to help spread that knowledge and those ideas to the people we care about most. And as always, don't forget to subscribe and come join the pack. I have a new video every Sunday and Thursday. I'm going to try to get outdoors, even if it's just in my backyard, a lot more often. And I can't wait to see you on the next one. Thanks, guys.